up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of REV Sports Wrap It Up. I am Josh Maber alongside the beautiful Soul. How are we doing today?
Doing good. How are you?
Oh, can't complain. We got a lot to go through, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of stuff on the horizon. It's not officially fall according to the calendar, but it feels like it with all of the sports really starting to ramp up with playoffs and other leagues starting or kind of getting really into it as far as week threes, week fours of football in college and NFL collectively. But we're going to start off with we're getting ready to round the bases into playoff baseball. So therefore, we're going to run the bases here and kind of go over the fact that the Cincinnati Reds still suck. They are eliminated from the playoffs. So we fired our manager like I figured we would. But the thing is, I want to fire everyone from the top up, sell the team. You have a good squad. You just need incompetent people as far as top down because the squad, you did well in putting the squad out there, but you don't know how to run the squad. So that's kind of the problem there. But we're on postseason watch now. We're right
Mm-hmm.
there. Unfortunately, there might be some sad news on your team, but just fill us in on what's going on and where we laying out here for to expect in playoff baseball.
Well, originally my notes were a little longer because there was still the Boston Red Sox were still alive, but just a few moments ago they are no longer alive. They are not making it into the postseason, so both of our teams suck. Yay!
At least it hurts more because your team is actually like competitive all season.
Right. Uh, we were like, let's just be just right there. Let's just edge. We're gonna edge the playoffs.
We're
but
edging a whole 365 days, so congratulations.
but if we're going off of if the postseason were to start today, so this was updated at 2 a.m. this morning. So any of the games that were today, they're not reflected in this. I don't know if it's changed anything. The only game that I cared about and saw a little bit of was the Red Sox, and we saw how that went. But right now we got in the American League. If it were today, the season ending, we have the Yankees at the AL East, Guardians AL Central, Astros AL West, with Orioles, Royals, and Tigers as the wild cards. And then the National League, we got Dodgers with the NL West, Phillies with the NL East, Brewers with the NL Central, and the Padres, Mets, and Diamondbacks as the wild card. The contender breakdowns. So those who have clinched their division is the Brewers, Guardians, Phillies, and Astros. Those who have clinched postseason berths are the Yankees, Dodgers, Orioles, and Padres. And in playoff positions, we got the Royals, the Tigers, the Mets, and the Diamondbacks. And in the mix, we have the Braves, the Twins, and the Mariners. Earlier today, I had still alive Red Sox. No longer true. The tightest race that we have so far is NL West card. Diamondbacks lead Braves by half a game for the final wild card spot. In the AL wild card, you got the Royals and Tigers tied for second wild card spot. Royals hold the tiebreaker. Twins are 2 games back. Mariners are 2.5 games back. And for the NL West, we got Dodgers lead Padres by 2 games. Will the Dodgers eke out the NL West? We will see. The last game of the regular season is September 29th. So what do you think about this postseason if it were to end today?
It's crazy that the Tigers have made the run that they've had because I thought KC pretty much were kind of coasting, and then here came the Tigers like a bat out of hell. So they're definitely making it interesting there. Shout out to the Padres on last night of clinching their division in the coolest way possible on having a triple play with Shohei Ohtani on deck. So that was pretty cool there. And the Mets always seem to anytime they play the Braves, like they always play the Braves late in the season, and they always just seem to f it up.
Yep.
And that's what they're doing now. So I don't know what it is, but every time it's just the end of the season, the Mets are like, "Oh, we can just blow it to the Braves," because they had the division like wrapped up, and then they still screwed over the Braves a couple of years ago. With that, Philly is winning their division for the first time since like ever. It's like almost been like 10 years or something like that. It's been pretty ridiculous. It's kind of crazy because the Phillies have always been pretty consistent, at least the past 5 or 6 years. or at least recently. So I'm saying maybe 3 or 4. I mean, they made the World Series, I believe, not too long ago, but that was kind of they just went on a run there. But they're playing very good baseball. Um, Congratulations, Twins and Mariners. We're still talking about you. I don't think
Right.
cool, but we'll talk about you, which is cool in itself. With that, so yeah, I'd expect. I'm not going to count the Tigers out. I expect the Mets to get there.
Hmm.
I don't know if the Braves are going to do it.
Yeah, and it makes me a little sad on the Braves because my brother, he was born in Atlanta, so he's a Braves fan. So I've been to a lot of Atlanta Braves games in Atlanta at their second stadium, Turner Field, and then I've been to their new stadium. I forget the name of it, but I've been there. So if I were to choose which would I rather have, it would be the Braves, but I think it's going to be the Mets.
Yeah, yeah. And the Mets and the Jets are kind of the same thing. They're cursed for some random reason. Like they just can't get out of their own way. It has nothing. It has to do with the universe and the planets. Just don't like. I think the Mets and the Jets got together and was like, all right, do you want Pluto to not be a planet and also be cursed, or do you want to be successful? And they're like, fuck Pluto. So now Pluto is cursing them.
Right. One of my favorite videos of a Mets fan. They're talking to him. They're like, "What's the best thing about being a Mets fan?" He's like, "It builds character." And then he was just like, "And what's the worst thing about being a Mets fan?" Well, May to September.
Yeah, May to September. Yeah, exactly. It's just, and it's like one thing. It's like if your organization is bad, and like the Reds or something, but then you have like a spark of hope here and there because you can see the roster being there and it just didn't work out. Whereas like the Mets, as much money as they spend, basically you see the hoodie I'm wearing. So let me just put you in a picture here, okay? It's the Dallas Cowboys, except the Mets are even more cursed. Same thing with the Jets. Like at least Dallas, gives you hope for the regular season and then and then kills you. Whereas the Mets and Jets, like right now, they're like, oh, we got like last year the Jets. Oh, we got the roster. Aaron Rodgers, 4 plays in, done. That there went their season. The Mets have spent $1 billion, it feels like, on getting that roster together, and they still can't get out of their own damn way. Same thing kind of with the Cowboys, but the Cowboys at least make the playoffs. But I mean, I like the moves that the Mets are doing, and the Jets are doing rather than the Dallas Cowboys. So, but they're, all three are kind of the same, except those two are cursed. Dallas is just incompetent.
Well, the Jets weren't so cursed this past week. Do we want to talk some football?
Yeah, huck it, jug it, bow. We're gonna get that sound bite. So kind of going over the scores again, like we say every episode. We're kind of going to go over storylines as far as the teams are concerned. If you want to do individual players or anything like that, join me and Tushka over on Mondays at 9 o'clock Central, 10 o'clock Eastern on the Fantasy F Around to go over individual players and help you all out with your fantasy teams. And then watch us go cross-eyed talking about Dynasty because, that's a thing there. But just kind of going over here, yes, the Jets destroyed the Patriots. That's the first time I think they beat the Patriots since forever. They did beat them last year, but as far as like a primetime game, they beat the Patriots 24-3 in a shellacking. Giants beat the Browns 21-15. Eagles beat the Saints 15-12. That was a boring game, but yet fun at the same time. But it was just weird how that worked out. The Vikings, surprise, here they are. Sam Darnold got exercise. He's not seeing ghosts anymore, and the Vikings look really good right now. They beat the Texans 34-7. Broncos beat the Buccaneers at. No, it wasn't that. It was at the Broncos, but still, Baker got humbled there, 26-7. Packers. It doesn't matter who the quarterback is; they're still a well-coached team. They beat the Titans 30-14. Colts beat the Bears 21-16. Those two teams look terrible. Steelers beat the Chargers 20-10. That's the best defense in the league with the Steelers. Seahawks beat the Dolphins 24-3. The Dolphins, that's just a whole nother ball game. Seahawks Panthers beat the Raiders 36-22. Welcome to the league, Andy Dalton, even though you've been there for 15 years. Rams beat the 49ers 27-24, which I think was the game of the week. Lions beat the Cardinals 20-13 in the first half. They didn't do anything in the second half. Ravens beat the Cowboys 28-25. Chiefs beat the Falcons.
What was that?
I said it. You didn't hear it. The Chiefs beat the Falcons 22-17. Okay, I will give it. You always got to give the props to the Ravens because my boy Lamar, he did his thing. on that. But yeah, the Cowboys just whatever. Um, but the Lions and the Chiefs beat the Falcons 22-17. Another questionable. I mean, the refs love the Chiefs. Oh, blah blah blah. I don't know, whatever. Bills beat the Jaguars in the first quarter or the first half, but they ended up just kind of cruising to 47-10. And the Commanders beat the Bengals 38-33, with the Bengals being 0-3. And Jaden Daniels, welcome to the league. You're really, really good. Bills, another little nugget here for the Bills game. Damar Hamlin got his first ever interception. And for those who don't know who Damar Hamlin is, he's the guy that died on the field 2 years ago. And he's come back. He obviously didn't play a whole lot last year for obvious reasons.
Mhm.
But then this year he was, with how the season kind of worked out, how the offseason worked out, he is now the starter. And this is his first career interception. It's not like he's not been in the league for very, very long, but still long enough. You figured he'd have at least one or two at this point. But also, too, for Trevor Lawrence, you officially are the only quarterback in the history of NFL to throw a pick to a dead man. I mean, technically, he was dead for a little bit, so
Yeah.
that is an actual stat on there. But no, I'm so happy for Damar for the fact that you literally died on the field. Shout out to all the trainers and stuff like that. It was just a really cool moment, and the fact that he can still play at this level after going through that, which I wish on no one. So just shout out to him. A lot of storylines going forward. We'll kind of dive deep more into the storylines as we go on in the NFL season. Anything else stand out to you as far as the NFL games? I know you keep up with it a whole lot, but I still just anything that just stuck out that you saw that you want to touch upon.
So we were me and my dad were switching channels because we were watching some WNBA, we were watching some NFL, we were just watching some baseball, just going back and forth through the channels. And I love that we're watching which we'll get into, Fever Connecticut Suns. My dad was like, well, this game's over. And then we go to the Dolphins.
That game's over.
And we're like, okay, this game's over to baseball. And we're watching the freaking Marlins, which, yes, we live in Florida. Yes, we live in Miami, but we're not Marlins fans. We're Boston Red Sox fans. There's a whole story behind that. If you want to know, write down in the comments and we'll tell you sometime. But we were watching that. So it was kind of funny. We kept switching channels because we're like, wow, these teams suck.
Yeah, they suck.
So that's the main thing. But at least I'm not the only one whose team lost this week. And then friggin' Tushka, he's going to be the only one that can celebrate. At least he's not here this week to celebrate.
I still have yet to, they haven't reached that Dallas or Patriots level of just anyone but them, because I still just I can't it's just hard for me to dislike Patrick Mahomes. It's hard for me to dislike Andy. I mean, Andy Reid is the most likable dude ever.
He's a teddy bear. The funny thing though about that game is the announcer was talking about how a lot of women are getting into football and watching football, and immediately as they said that, Butker missed the field, the extra kick, and I was like, perfect timing, beautiful, chef's kiss, love it.
But also, too, speaking about having a high-profile relationship, people don't talk about it. Josh Allen is dating Haley Steinfeld, and she was at the game, and they never show. They like to keep it private. They're super private. I don't care what you do. If you're dating Taylor Swift, as much as she would love to keep her, she's one of the most famous people in the world. Right. Nothing taking away from Haley Steinfeld and Josh Allen, but Taylor Swift she can't escape it. So, they don't have 50,000 people outside the movie theater to just hear Haley Steinfeld act, even though she's amazing. But I do want to just point that out as far as.
And she's a good singer too.
Yeah. So I mean, Haley Steinfeld is definitely. She's not Taylor Swift.
She's not Taylor Swift.
On that. Yeah. So. Yeah.
And most people aren't.
No, she's a good entertainer. I'm indifferent when it comes to Taylor. It's not for me. I'm not her demographic though. So, but I will say it's not like she's. I don't like dislike her songs or anything. I mean, they're catchy, and I do know a lot of them, so it's not like she's doing something wrong. It's just I am not her target demographic. I would love to go to her concerts because it'd be easy to go to the bathroom. I know that. So, but anyway, that's not what this show's about. So moving on to college football here. WKU beat Toledo. All right, we're on a winning streak. Winning streak. 3 in a row.
And we were losing this game, Josh.
I'm aware.
And we came back.
We're
proud of our boys.
Right, we're proud of our boys. Got to hold steady, hold the line. They did it. Louisville beat Georgia Tech for their first actual competition. I'm bringing up Louisville because that's where I'm from, so I'm a big Louisville fan as well. Obviously, you saw the bobblehead, and Michigan holds off USC. This is more on USC. I think USC has easily a better team, but when you're at Michigan, the big house, home field advantage is a big thing in college football. As much as I think that there is a home field advantage when it comes to pros, home field advantage is just tenfold when it comes to college sports. But speaking about home field advantage, Oklahoma didn't because Tennessee's just that much better than Oklahoma. So yes, the Orange beat the Reds. Not really.
That awful orange.
Maroons. Yeah, it's so ugly. But yeah, Tennessee rolls through Oklahoma. And then to bring up here a couple of things. If no one's keeping up with Cal Twitter for the University of California, Berkeley Bears, okay, they just went for it. Okay, so they beat Auburn. And they decided to just totally lean into the fact that California is woke and then the liberal agenda and all that stuff. And they were just like, screw it, let's just go with it. And it is hilarious. So as we're showing this side here, this is what they did after they beat Auburn. Someone you just lost to the woke agenda. I thought that was hilarious. Then they did unfortunately lose to Florida State, but someone did post this about Florida State. So check your row number. 60s Marxist red, 50s orange, 40s they them yellow, 30s capitalism is a crime green, 20s Atlantic Coast blue. They're playing the Atlantic Coast Conference, and then 0 to 19 open border purple. It's just hilarious the fact that there's a couple other things that you see when they had because it's at Doak Campbell Stadium, and then they photoshopped a bunch of the Florida State fans with pride flags and all that stuff, and then it said woke Campbell Stadium over it. So I mean, they're just leaning into it. So yeah, if you know just somebody that's self-aware and just leans into it, I got to tip my cap to them.
Right.
On that. That's just some funny stuff here. But the main thing that I really want to get to that broke today in college football, which is a big thing. So for those who don't know, something in college football, I think it was University of Washington, some of their players, basically went against the NCAA because they were basically making all their money off of them, and they're not getting any support. That's what they call the name, image, and likeness. Okay, because as you all know, you technically can't pay players to go to your school. Technically, we do it all the time, but it's forbidden. Then they decided to, and then they were also saying that you can't transfer, or if you do transfer, you have to sit out a year. Whereas, but then their argument was, well, coaches can literally just take another job every year if they wanted to. So, and there was no penalty. They just get millions more dollars by taking another job. So basically those two things went to court. The court was like, yeah, this is unfair. So therefore the NCAA just had to just sit there and take it. Well, now it's full board, transfer portal. People are transferring all the time. Then plus because of COVID, people got an extra year. So you're having 25-year-olds in seventh year of college playing. Because technically the way the transfer rule works is you transfer to one school, you can have one transfer, but then if you transfer again, you have to take the penalty. But most of the time people just no, and then the NCAA fine. So people just transfer willy-nilly. But you can basically technically transfer 2 times without any penalty, and that's if you transfer the first time, or you are a graduate. And a lot of people are still graduates, so they can just transfer whenever they want. And then there's name, image, and likeness. Now, technically, the schools can't pay the players, so they have all their boosters, which typically the boosters end up paying for the players anyway. That's who got the players there to begin with. So it's not like the schools are really forking out the money because they have to keep up with other budgets. than just paying this one guy $2 million. So UNLV story just came out today. UNLV starting quarterback, and they are 3-0. They're and if you don't know how the playoffs work, they let at least one Power Five get into the playoffs, which could really, even though you're probably not going to win, at least it lets everyone in except for like those top 6 teams every year. The way they did it, so 12-team playoff now, and they at least let a group, what they call the group of five, get in. UNLV is 3-0. They are right there. They just beat Kansas, which is a Big 12 team, at Kansas, so it was a big win to them. And this is their starting quarterback. Well, their starting quarterback comes out today and basically says, "Hey, after NIL and stuff didn't work out that I was promised, didn't end up getting paid. So therefore, I'm going to use my one red shirt that I have and transfer, because you have a medical red shirt, and then sometimes you can get an actual red shirt because
Mm-hmm.
you have up to 4 games to play, and then once you play 4 games, you can't. That your red shirt's done. That's your year. That's it. Okay. Unless you get a medical red shirt, like some gruesome injury happened to where you tear your ACL, and then you can go to the NCAA and say, "Hey, uh, it's not my fault that it's just injuries happen," type of thing. And they typically they go back and forth on that, but that's not what this is about. So
Right.
basically, he got 3 weeks in, and according, and I will kind of read through here. And yes, college players now have agents.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Uh, and I think these agents, although they are licensed, this is a wild west right now. This thing needs regulation yesterday, and this is why. For this type of thing, because this could be
Yeah.
this could turn into an avalanche real quick of just a bunch of messed up stuff. But let's get into some quotes here. But basically, this is Matthew Sluka is the UNLV starting quarterback, and he basically redshirted and said, "I'm leaving the school because agent Marcus Cromartie told ESPN that UNLV didn't come through on a verbal offer of $100,000 from an assistant coach." The quarterback's father, Bob Sluka, told ESPN that head coach Barry Odom later said in a phone conversation that the offer wasn't valid because it didn't come from him, but rather from offensive coordinator Brennan Marion, who declined comment to ESPN. Um, and then a statement that Sluka's representative made financial demands upon the university and its NIL collective in order to continue playing. So basically, he was
Mm-hmm.
like, "Hey, so again, this is coming down to a bunch of he said she said stuff, but it's
Mm-hmm.
still something to bring out."
All about the
UNLV athletic,
Benjamins.
what?
All about the Benjamins.
Oh yeah, UNLV athletics interpreted these demands as a violation of the NCAA pay-for-play rules, as well as Nevada state law. UNLV does not engage in such activity, nor does it respond to implied threats. UNLV has honored all previous agreed upon scholarships for Matthew Sluka. UNLV has conducted its due diligence and will continue to operate its programs within the framework of NCAA rules and regulations, as well as Nevada state laws. UNLV's collective did pay Sluka one $3,000 fee for an engagement he had made this summer, according to Rob Sine, who runs Blueprint Sports, a company that manages the collective. Okay, because basically
We don't pay him, but we paid him for this one thing.
well, here's the thing: he transferred from Holy Cross, and most of these guys go to these schools, and there's also could be tampering involved, which is a whole different other can of worms. In this story here, basically what happened, and again, it's a bunch of he said, she said. So it assistant coach said like, "Hey, we'll pay you $100,000." Cool. Then they get there, and maybe there was agreed upon as far as the coach just says 3,000. Well, they paid them 3,000. It's again a collective. You're going to hear this word a lot when it comes to college sports because the schools can't pay them. For Louisville, it's a 502 collective. They'll have like cool names or whatever, and people donate to them through boosters and stuff like that. For example, I'm going to use U of L again. There's a big booster in U of L that says just for men's basketball. Okay, that says that, hey, I will match. Here's the timetable. Whatever it is, if we raise up to $2 million, I will also match, and it goes right to men's basketball. And and U of L people came out $10 here, $10 there, whatever, raised the $2 million, and then he matches. There was already $4 million to pay these kids, which we
Right.
all said they should be paid, obviously. But here's where the muddy waters happen.
Mm-hmm.
is we really don't know. No one else was in the is to quote Hamilton. No one else was in the room when it
From
happened. So this is a bunch of he said, she said, but that's not the point. The
yeah,
point is this could snowball into something really bad, and the NCAA can't really step in and do anything because if they step in and do anything, the Supreme Court's going to be, or the court, they're going to go to the court, and the court's going to be like, no, you got to do it because
right.
that happens every time now. Is as soon as they take them to court, the NCAA is effed.
Yeah.
But just I don't know if you were able to read through the story a little bit.
I
Just kind
didn't
of
have a chance to read because I was watching WNBA. But they have to, UNLV has to say, we never, but
oh yeah,
every college and university has. But they legally, they have to, they're not going to perjure themselves. Um, but I find it funny. NIL is tricky, and it's tricky for a lot of things. I do think that these players, especially you have colleges and universities that are making so much money off of these players, and the players, like some of them, other than getting their college paid for, were like living in shitty apartments, eating
mm-hmm.
ramen, not like basically poor kids.
Right.
So I'm glad that players are finally getting their due diligence. They're making so much money for the university that they're able to make some money for themselves at all. We do still have some issues in it with like international players. They cannot get any NIL deals because then they're considered to be working, and they're not allowed to be working while they're on a
Mm-hmm.
student visa. So that's even like Camila Cardoso talked about how like she made zero money at all and wasn't able to get any deals until she actually graduated and then was part of the Chicago Sky. Um, but there is where we're seeing it, and we're seeing it a little bit more on the men's side than the women's side, but people transferring and leaving schools and kind of just going flip flopping and going back and forth, and where I think that it's hurting the development of these players. I think it's better you choose a school, and unless like it's really not working out, that you're just not playing in the right position, your coach fucking sucks, this or that, as the cops drive by my house. For you to really learn, you need to be in the same space,
Mm-hmm.
and you need to be working on skill sets. And you're not really working on skill sets if you're hopping from place to place. So I think that this is really going to affect these group of players, because NIL didn't exist when we were in college,
No.
but now it does. So it's going to be interesting to see the snowball effect. And I think we're seeing it a little bit more on the men's side than the women. The women tend to kind of stay at their colleges and make their money,
Yeah.
especially too because women's sports don't get paid as much at the professional level, that they're like, well, I can kind of get paid a little bit more while I'm in college.
And it helps and it hurts when it comes to NIL because here's the pro of it is that with this, and I understand what he's thinking. He's like he literally went to UNLV. He completes like 44% of his passes. It's not like he's going to be an NFL player. So
Right.
you're trying to make as much as you can before you go into the real world and talk about like the whole joke about the enterprise commercial and stuff like that, like working in insurance and blah blah blah. So if you can make $100,000 before you go into working
Right.
a $60,000 job, yeah, I want to do that. But the thing is because it's not pay for play, like you can't. There's no contracts involved. They're not paid
Right.
employees, so therefore you can only really. It's not
Verbal
like
agreements.
right verbal agreements. You can't really. And I don't know the ins and outs of it, but just from
And a lot of
how.
it's shady, under the table kind of stuff that like you can't really sue anyone for,
No.
because then you get in trouble and they get in trouble.
Right. It's but you're gonna it's a lose-lose situation if you
Yeah.
sue that person. So the only thing he can do, because it happened last year, there was a player out of Florida. His name is Jaden Rashada, who he was a 4-star, 5-star quarterback. They thought he was going to go to Miami. Then he goes to Florida because Florida gave him the bag. Then he gets to Florida, realizes that was false. So then he goes to Arizona State before he even starts his freshman year. But the thing is like the player can't sue, and the school can't sue, because then they're gonna just go a bag of worms. And by the time the lawsuit and all that stuff gets over, then like you were talking about, the development of the kid's done, and so the kid's screwed up, and then also the school screwed up. So it's just kind of like, all right, we just have to agree and then hope that everyone honors it. Um, and again, there's no, and also too, you have some agents for these kids that are like, oh, well, you're 3-0 now. I mean, you're hot. And they're only going to give you like 3,000. We don't even know if you're going to get another 100, or because this other guy said he can give you that, but he can't give you that. Might as well just use your name, go off on a high note, and then go to a school next year and really go to like an Auburn or something like that could use you, and then get paid. Is that the right philosophy? Yeah, to get him paid, but the agent's just trying to make a commission. Right. So is he looking out best for the kid? No, agents never are. I mean, there might be. I've watched Jerry Maguire.
Yeah, there's a few agents out there. Like, I don't want to like disparage like all agents. There's a few out there that like legitimately care about their clients and are doing stuff in the best interest. But there's far too many, and especially like, ooh, NIL passed, we can do this, and it kind of becomes a little predatory. Yeah. And I don't want to use that word, but in a sense, there's probably several people who aren't actual agents that became agents for the purpose of exploiting NIL money.
Right. Yeah. So, the NCAA fully supports college athletes profiting from the NIL. But unfortunately, there is little oversight or accountability in the NIL space, and far too often promises made to student athletes are broken. NCAA Senior Vice President from External Affairs, Tim Buckley, said in the statement, positive change are underway at the NCAA to deliver more benefits to student athletes, but without clear legal authority granted by the courts or by Congress. The NCAA conferences and schools have limited authority to regulate third parties involved in NIL transactions, hence the collectives. Like they can regulate schools because that's who gets punished. Right. They can't regulate. Now, that being said, from the NCAA, who would tell a school they violated because they paid for this kid's cheeseburger. Like, really, this is where we're at on that. But that's a whole it's a whole different ball game. It's kind of a theme here, but they need. For the first time in a long time, I'm like, all right, we need some regulation because this can get bad and hurt everyone involved.
Yeah.
And then you could lose viewers because people are like, it's hard enough for me to keep up with who's on Louisville's team. I mean, literally our basketball team have the only returner. Now, granted, it's a new coach, and all that, but like the only returning player is a walk-on. It's literally 13 new dudes.
And I know on the women's side you miss Haley Van Lith.
Yeah. Hey, she made a choice, and she got a bronze medal. She was going to do it with a Louisville jersey either way. So, but yeah, but I mean, Louisville gets there, and then plus it's like you have these collectives, so then the coaches have to go to the collectives, and then it's like it can't go to all sports, which is the problem to begin with. It's like if you're paying for these players, well. Football and men's basketball get more revenue, so they're going to get the first crack at getting these players are going to get the most money. But then you have other sports that still bring in revenue, but not that. So it's just a whole. That's just a whole nother
can of worms.
Yeah, but this doesn't surprise me, but it still is crazy at the same time. That it's happening. But that's all I got for that.
Let us know your thoughts on NIL down in the comments below. We want to talk to you guys about this because this is it's a hot button issue, and it's been talked about ever since it's been passed. So we want to know your guys' thoughts. But you ready for
Yeah.
All right. The title of this episode, it makes me sad. It is Diana Taurasi retiring.
It's your turn. I went through my retirement last week.
DT hasn't explicitly come out saying that this is her last year, but there's a lot of signs showing that this is her last year. Before the game against Seattle, the Mercury lost 89-70. DT said this.
You still got that bounce. Are you sure this is it?
I don't know. It's been, the last couple of weeks have been, a little nerve-wracking for myself. I don't want to make any, emotional and rash decisions. I know, the end is near. When that is, I don't know. I've always been a person that just concentrates on what's next, and that's practice tomorrow, and then Seattle on Thursday. And I guess when the season's over, I'll reflect and I'll, get advice from the people that are close to my heart and have been with me since day one. So you never know, but who knows?
Yeah. And then to add on to some of the signs here, Sue Bird, Megan Rapinoe, and Gino Coach Ariyama were in attendance for the game, which, side note, Nika Mule got her first ever WNBA points in front of her college coach. So that's kind of pretty cool. Nika hasn't really played a lot. At the beginning of the year, she wasn't playing a lot because she didn't have a visa. So she was allowed to stay in the country, but she didn't have a work visa. So she kind of was just like sitting on the side like, can y'all get me my visa?
Right.
And then by the end, a rookie that kind of rode the bench. So she finally got some points and she got to do it in front of coach. So that was pretty cool. Another sign to DT might be retiring is that Phoenix made this video, and you kind of don't make these kind of videos unless this is the end.
All right. I will play it. I'm going to go to the restroom while it's playing so that way the viewers can see it.
Oh, we don't want to see. You don't want to cry on camera?
I cried again for Alex Morgan. I don't want to do it 2 weeks in a row, man, okay? You got me last week. Can I just hold off for one? I'm going to listen to it, but can I just hold off for one? I don't want to cry every week, okay? At least on camera.
Yeah, you're allowed. You're allowed.
Okay. All right. Well, here you go, guys. All right? Just, damn it. All good things must come to an end, and I think we're there.
Mm-hmm.
Dear D. Sorry, I'll do it again.
All right, ready?
Yeah.
Dear D.
If this is it, if this is your final regular season game in front of the X Factor,
How do we say thank you 7,427 times?
GOAT delivers again!
One for every day we were proud to have you wear our uniform.
Taurasi!
Face of the franchise just doesn't cut it for someone who has been the Mercury heartbeat for 20 of our 28 seasons.
if this is it, how do we thank someone not for what they did, but what they gave?
Not just how you scored, but how you competed.
Not just how you celebrated the wins, but how you hated to lose.
If this is it, thank you for letting us share in the joy.
For the banners and the MVPs.
For 10,000.
For getting to see you on that medal stand 6 times.
For letting us call you GOAT, even though you hated it.
And for the technicals where you really got your money's worth.
If this is it, thank you for the sacrifices.
For the injuries we never knew about.
For 365-day seasons.
For allowing a city you'd never visited to become your family's home.
If this is it, thank you for the moments.
It feels good to be home.
For the passes we didn't see coming.
And the shots we knew were going in before they left your hand.
Diana's done it! She is 1 of 1! thank you not just for the elimination game wins,
Taurasi a 3 for the lead.
but for what it felt like to have you on our side on those nights.
Taurasi the pull-up. It's good. And the foul.
The fire, the laughs, for loving the game and never cheating it.
For the ones who picked up a ball to be like you, who pull up from the logo because you did.
in playing the right way, you represented a city, changed a franchise, and lifted a league.
We hope you felt us behind you every step of the way.
This is it. Most of all, thank you for doing it all in one uniform.
Ryder finds Taurasi a 3. It's good. She got it. The GOAT delivers again.
If this is it, thank you will never be enough. But it's a start. Love all of us.
Yeah.
Yeah. How you feel after watching that?
Yeah. I mean, it's DT. Like, also DT. You could have had one hair change within the
Hey,
20
she
years.
showed her hair down at the very
I know,
beginning.
but I'm just saying, like, the way they did like all the pictures of her like being in Phoenix for like that many years, and it's still like the only thing that's changing is like the freckles on her face, but her hair exactly the same. It's like the weirdest, like looking like, you know, when someone takes a picture of themselves like every day for like 4 years or something, and it's like you see all their hair changes, and hers just like, no, this is exactly what you're gonna get the whole time. All right, that being aside, yeah, I mean, she carried a league that no one paid attention to enough. I mean, and then now with the emergence of these great rookies that are bringing more eyeballs to it, people are realizing the accolades and what all DT really did to just get us to this point. Obviously, there's a couple other really good ones. Obviously, my favorite that unfortunately, you know, she decided to. She had another path that she needed to go down with Maya Moore, but she always had, even in Connecticut, she just had that look to her that you just knew she was you were never going to mentally beat her. Like, she just had that kind of that Kobe look of you. If I get in your head, that's your effing problem, but you're not messing with me. Like,
Right.
she and every night, that's every mentality she always had. And it's just, that's something that it could be taught, but I think that's just a genetic thing. And she was touched with that genetic gift of being more mentally strong than probably everyone on the court, even to this day. And I think that's probably what I would say with DT, much less just her skill set and enough. But the fact of what she left is showing in this crazy world, she never wavered from her mental self when it came to when the ball is tipped.
Yeah.
And that's very tough to do.
Even now, we're going to be talking about these playoff games, and she's in her 40s, and
Right.
she's still playing phenomenally. She's not the same that she was.
No.
But she's still pretty damn good.
She's not as good as she once was, but she's as good once as she ever was.
And then that last night against the Seattle Storm, which was the last regular season game, DT said, "If this is the last time, it feels like the first time. I love you guys." And it's kind of, she just doesn't have to say it. It is what happened. It'll be interesting if she comes back, but like, this feels like a good finale. And even I was listening to Super 8 and Megan Rapinoe's podcast today, and they made a joke to DT. They were like, "If you come back next year, we're not coming to your final game again because we already did it once."
Yeah, don't Brett Favre us and come back like 7 times and retire 8 of them.
But the fans, basically, she had been taken out of the game. She's sitting on the bench, and the fans wanted her back in the game. So we have this here of her coming back in.
This is fantastic. Diana Taurasi is checking back into the game because the X Factor literally got on their feet to implore Nate Tibbetts to put her back on the floor. And the guy sitting in front of us with the goat hats wins today's prize. The X Factor on their feet for DT.
That's such a great gesture, and the two Huskies hugging each other.
This is
And the fans also, I know we just said like it'd be weird coming back after this whole thing, but the fans did chant one more year, and you could just see how much it means to them. And this is DT in her post-match interview.
In the beginning and what you call near the end, but you don't know. So how important was it to get that embrace from Gino right there? Of course, to start what is your legendary career at UConn. And then second part is, how important is it to have 20 years as a motivating factor possibly from Kobe, what he did with the Lakers?
I mean, Coach means the world to me. You know, I got to Connecticut as an 18-year-old that didn't really know much, but thought she knew a lot. He quickly told me I didn't. And he let me know that every day, because he knew if I could just scratch the surface of where he thought I could go, something special could happen. And 20 years later, to still have his love, his friendship, his mentorship, his family. You know, I looked over and he was chatting with my dad in Italian. It felt like my home visit 20 years ago in Chino. You know, my mom kicking my dad underneath the table. Shut up. You're drinking wine. You know, all those memories start coming back to you. And Kobe set the bar. You know, to be in one place for 20 years, you could probably handpick that many people that played for one team for that long. And it's not easy being in one place for 20 years. You know, it's a long relationship of, you know, ups and downs and compromise, and I don't like this and I don't like that. But at the end of the day, this franchise, through my ups and my downs, always had my back, and I always try to pay that back by coming back a better player, better teammate. And, you know, in that sense, I've been really lucky.
The last thing I want to show is these stats that were shown right before the Lynx Mercury game, which we'll get into it a little bit. But here's data. This is not my TV, by the way. This is someone else's TV that then they posted onto Twitter. That she's first in points, first in 3-point field goals, first in assists, and first in technical fouls. The next closest being Milton Jones with 53. She has 107. So she's going to be first in everything, and that's my favorite of her stats is her text.
Hey, I think Kevin Durant might have her beat by the time he hangs it up with all of his with the many technicals as he does. With that, but yeah, she is as of right now, she's the greatest. She's the greatest one to ever do it. I mean, there's just stats
Aged
don't
like
lie.
fine wine.
Yeah. And you know, she's the model of consistency, like she was saying, being in a place for 20 years. It's not like it was all, you know, lavender and gumdrops and all the other stuff while she's there. I mean, I've been at the company that I've been with for 5 years, and it's not like I've been like super happy, but you just understand it's really okay. Thank you. Thank you, Tushka. 147 career text, Draymond Green. Yeah, it's pretty close to that. It's nuts. But yeah, she probably just realized like the grass isn't always greener, and don't make rash decisions. I mean, obviously Kobe was like 2 seconds away from leaving the Lakers, and then it's made it work. And as you alluded to it, but yeah, just to be at an organization, a place to your place of work for 20 years. Is very rare these days, much less any time. unless you like started the company. Even that sometimes doesn't happen. You see it in other aspects, but especially in sports, you rarely see that anymore. I mean, LeBron is on his third team. So even though he went back to Cleveland, but still.
Yeah.
But I mean,
it said that he would never leave Cleveland again.
Right. And I mean, Jordan wasn't, and Jordan went to the Wizards technically. Like he never started in his career with the same organization. So it just that says a lot, especially this day and age, about commitment. And you can see Phoenix has really the organization with naming the court after and stuff like that. Like the Phoenix might not be around as a WNBA franchise without having Diana Taurasi there every step of the way.
Yeah, just thinking because they put out the Super doc because she was with Seattle for 21 years,
right?
To showing consistency, and I'm like, I can't wait for the Diana Taurasi doc, and it's probably going to be a lot of because obviously DT was in that doc because of their UConn days, and then also they played on the same team in Russia, so they spoke about their overseas. So there's going to be some of those same stories, but I would love to just really get even more into her story that I already know really well.
Yeah. All right. So thank you, Tushka, for looking this up. So these are all the technicals. So yeah, I think KD's got a little bit further to go, much less Draymond Green. That doesn't surprise me with those guys, though. Carmelo, Charles, he wasn't. He's Charles. Rasheed Wallace, yeah, he was always just. And Gary Payton, he still doesn't know how to shut up. And then Dennis Rodman, I mean, he was kicking cameramen.
Don't show DT these stats because then she's gonna stay
even longer. Back just to break it.
To break it. But we do want to talk about. I was gonna say people breaking stats, which technically she did. Asia Wilson named MVP. Caitlin Clark named Rookie of the Year. So we were right. Look at damn.
Yep.
Asia won unanimously, becoming only the second unanimous MVP winner in WNBA history, the last being Cynthia Cooper in the WNBA's inaugural season in 1997. Asia also joins Cheryl Swoops, Lisa Leslie, and Lauren Jackson as the only players to win 3 MVPs. So, good company that she keeps.
Who has the most MVPs?
Cheryl Swoops, Lisa Leslie, Lauren Jackson, and Asia Wilson.
Yeah, Asia's gonna take the crown on the most MVP. Yeah. Before it's all said and done, she's gonna take the crown. Now the female next to her might challenge her by the time her career ends, but who knows?
And when you still got Stewie.
That's what I'm saying. Still got Stewie, Ionesco.
And don't sleep on Jonquil Jones. She's won MVP before.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's plenty of women that can be MVP in the future. But yeah, I'm glad she heard unanimous vote. And I like that they're putting the in the MVP, though. Forget the word for it.
Yeah. Ellipses or something?
No.
I don't know.
But let's watch the video of Asia finding out that she won MVP.
I'm just so shocking.
Hello. I'm going to put you on speakerphone real quick. It's for Asia. Hold on.
Oh, this is something.
All right, go ahead.
All right. Do we have someone named Asia Wilson in the house tonight?
Yes.
Hi, Asia. So, Asia, we have to stop meeting like this. If I think back to 2020 in the bubble and the level, I walked into that room and handed you the MVP trophy, and guess what? You are the 2024.
And look at how nice those chairs are, too.
Right?
It's honestly crazy how, it's all worked. This morning, I was, really thinking about what I could do for you guys. So that's when I was like, you know what? I'm going to write, letters or just, things to you guys individually. And I guess God wants me to share with you guys in person. Sydney! I don't think I've ever got a chance to tell you this, but you molded me into the leader that I am from year one. I say a lot of time, I try to be a voice for the voiceless, but you're honestly a voice for me. And sometimes I don't feel like I'm being heard. So thank you for being that. AC. And AC, when it comes to somebody that will be accountable at the same time, Uncle me and love me at times that I need, it's you. And thank you so much for letting me know that it's okay to not be. But at the same time, the grind and the mentality of I'm never going to let the enemy win is something that I admire so much about you. I hope you guys know that this trophy is nothing without y'all. So thank you guys from the bottom of my heart. This truly means a lot.
Yay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
you cry again? You cry a little?
Yeah, you gotta be a sympathetic crier, man. That's what it's all about. Yeah, but it's freaking Asia. Like yes, like she says, and it takes it. It's a team sport, not just one. Now having the best player on your team helps, but it's not like she just wakes up and that mama mentality is rare to have, and it's okay to be not okay, as she said, and everyone goes through it. It's just, but to go through it, especially at the end of just being vulnerable there, because we just look at, people look to her as she's the rock, and if she cracks, then we all crack. And the fact that she was able to say, like, no, you're the cement that holds us together, that holds me together as that person, was really cool to see on that. Now, this shouldn't have been shocking, but it's still great. You're right. I mean, freaking Kevin Durant, when he talked about his mom, he's like, "You the real MVP," that whole thing. So he was even got emotional. Yes, apostrophe. There it is. Yeah. We got multiple syllable words for a little symbol.
But from the other fellow 3-time MVPs, they sent Asia a message. So let's watch that here.
I am so proud of you, Asia Wilson, for joining our elite group of MVPs, 3 MVPs. You have been outstanding all season long.
Congratulations on becoming a 3-time MVP. What an incredible accomplishment. I am truly in awe of your greatness.
Just want to say congratulations on getting here. You've had an incredible season. You're carving out a legacy that probably never ever going to be matched again. It's pretty incredible to watch. Historic, but legendary. Keep being great.
You have been the queen of the court. Congratulations. And you know what? You have 3 MVPs, still young enough. You'll probably be the first person ever to win 4 WNBA MVPs. I'm not trying to put pressure on you, but good luck. Congratulations and love you.
Yeah, she gonna win more. She gonna win more than 3 guys.
She gonna win more. Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
And lastly, she gotta show off that trophy right before game 1.
Yep. There it is.
Also, right. Outfit on point.
Now they got all the bullshit out of the way. Go win us 2 in a row, right? At this point.
Well, let's get into the actual games. Right. WNBA playoffs going on right now. Let's talk the number 1 seed versus the number 8 seed. New York Liberty versus Atlanta Dream. The Liberty beat the Dream 83-69 in game 1. Stewie had a 20-point, 11 rebound double-double. Leonie Phoebish, she had a great game with 21 points, and outside of Stewie, looked like the best player on the court. So let's watch some of Phoebish because she was showing off. She plays for Germany.
New York has not missed a shot from the floor yet. Phoebish keeps it focused. That gives
to the three-point line in the secondary break, and that ball is popping around the perimeter. Cash from the corner.
Last foul was on Charles, who buttons up.
Another three. Swish.
Beautiful stroke.
She's actually averaging almost another assist, one more assist this year than she did last year.
Yeah, assists are up for her. Phoebish.
Long two.
Yes.
For her ball right there.
The eighth and
She's trying to bring her
playoff
next. She goes
spot on
right
the
to
last
that
day of the
position.
regular season. JJ still looking for some
Nice
offense. Another pass. She's got a couple of sweet ones, and that ended perfectly. And also,
just patient here, right? You have to respect her ability to hit the three, so Tina Charles has to cover up. And then Leonie Phoebich, again, continuing to move without the basketball. As Ryan Howard was
just that salsa.
Nog Hillman did not communicate, and Brianna Stewart, you can't leave her either. Oh,
she's right-handed.
And that quickly, Phoebich strikes again.
New York is executing at a high level this afternoon on both sides of the basketball.
Here comes Stewart. Head up, looking for a target. Phoebich, Delaney Hamilton. That is gorgeous.
That was tough.
Be stingy. Share the rock. Share the joy. Phoebich to Benijah Laney Hamilton.
They were surprised to be in the playoffs, and she said, you know, we weren't even thinking about that. We were just doing, as you said, things trying to work hard, get better.
I have the right accent with this, but on fire and German. Right. This is when the intensity ramps up the most, and she's walking in like it ain't nothing.
Ionescu might have passed up a layup instead. She'll take an assist.
Off of misses or makes on Saturday, we heard this Liberty squad say, get to the three-point line, play with space and pace.
Like, played really, really well. And let's just put up this right here. She is now the assist leader in the postseason, beating Sue Bird. She had an incredible game. You saw those highlights there. Your thoughts on Phoebe?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, she's her shooting stroke is very good. I mean, it's textbook. A lot of times people shoot from the side or just weird shooting motion. When she shoots, she's shooting right here. Like she immediately brings it. That's what I call it the Ray Allen. Basically, that's because I think he just has the best pure shooting motion that I've ever seen, and she's kind of mimicked that. Because Steph Curry, if you think about Steph Curry, he has a quick shot, but he kind of brings it up from his neck, where he doesn't just start here, but he definitely has a. So it's a different one, but I mean, that layup was really nice. She cuts well. Her court vision. Obviously, she leads the assist. She broke the assist there, and that's why I have.
Correction there. That's Courtney Vandersloot, not Phoebish, but still, Courtney Vandersloot also in the game.
You didn't correct.
I know. I was like, I'm gonna make that correction after Josh stopped speaking. That was my mistake there.
Yeah, because I was like, because I was looking at the other names, I wasn't looking at the Courtney. I was like, okay, I took your word for it.
Yeah.
With that, again, this is why I think the Liberty is the better team. But
yeah,
I know we're not there yet, but next round is I gotta pull myself away from my 78 leagues in fantasy football to watch that Aces Liberty series when it finally happens. Because on that.
Yeah, to cut time, we're gonna skip this next video.
Okay.
And go into the Liberty versus Dreams second game. Liberty beating them 91-82 and advancing. Sabrina Ionescu got 36 points, tying the most points in a playoff game for New York Liberty franchise. When asked about it after the game, she said, "I should have scored one more."
Right.
Jonquel Jones had a 20-point, 13 rebound double-double. Atlanta, they left it all on the court, and they should be proud of their play. Ryan Howard had some great moments in the game. Atlanta was just the 8th seed going against the number 1 seed. Like, that's what just happened there.
They're just happy to be there.
Right. It was a really fun game to watch, and they even outscored New York in the first quarter. It took the Liberty a little bit to get into their groove in this game, but once they did, Atlanta really just didn't have a chance. And Sabrina Ionescu just had the night of her life. But Speaking of Ryan Howard having some great moments, look at this block on Stewie.
It's stripped away by Ionescu. Stewart in transition. Look out!
He said, not today.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. But speaking of Sabrina, this is like a 2-minute video, so you can like skip forward and stuff on it if you want. But these are just some of Sabrina's highlights from that game.
A little more pressure defensively from Atlanta. That was a point of emphasis. Ionescu drains the three. Here's Ionescu. Stewart, turn, take, and hit. Facing elimination tonight. Here's Ionescu, lays it in. New York down 3. Here's Ionescu to the cup, lays it in.
I'm gonna get her last name right. By like the end of this year.
Stewart.
I thought
Ionescu. In the corner.
I heard it both ways.
Laney Hamilton extra feed. Ionescu skates in and cups it home.
You know, down the stretch, I think both teams have started to look a little bit fatigued at this stretch of the game.
Ionescu.
And then the long three.
Ionescu finds the cutter. Beamish waits and lays it in.
And she went to sleep. So that's over. I think that's a good place to kind of call it off. Sleep.
But yeah, they advanced. We were all right in our predictions.
Yeah.
Look at how brave we were picking the number 1 seed.
I know, right? Picking the best team in the league to beat the worst team that made the playoffs.
But going on, we got the number 2 seed Minnesota Lynx versus number 7 Phoenix Mercury, which game 2 is currently going on right now. I don't know what the score is, but we'll speak about game 1. And the Lynx beat the Mercury 102-95. As I said last week, the Lynx haven't had a lot of coverage in the media and have been having a great year this year. And they played like a unit against Phoenix. Phoenix gave them a fight in the second half of the game, making the Lynx lead shorter and shorter, going from a big double-digit lead to just a 1-point lead at a moment, but the Lynx kind of were just like, okay, we'll let you get close, but then we're going to take it again. And they got that dub. Nafisa Collier, she balled out in the game, getting a career-high 38 points. Natasha Cloud also had a great game for Phoenix, getting 33 points, 10 assists, double-double. She also had this no-look pass, which was nasty.
By the way, before I play that, the end of right at the end of the third, it's 76-64 Lynx, which doesn't surprise me.
Team connected all season on both ends of the floor. Now they're getting challenged a little bit. They got some game pressure on them.
Cloud inside, nice feed, Mac off the window. What?
Nasty.
Nasty.
DT also played well and had some important shots, getting 21 points. I mean, just look at these threes. We're honoring
Taurasi. Lynx never panic when the shot clock winds down. Taurasi, quick trigger.
Still got it.
Money.
Still got it.
Oh, good. Rebounds.
No.
And then there's one more.
Okay.
The next one. But yeah, DT still got it.
We're doing these like over a minute videos are throwing me off.
No, it's the lead guard.
Lead guard. Don't call her a point guard.
Which is Katie Smith when she played in Detroit. Was the lead guard.
I was like, what is this? Come on, DT.
15 points now.
15? But like we said, game 2's going right now. Lynx are going to win. Unfortunately, DT is going to be taken out in probably her last year, but it is what it is, right? And then we go on to the number 3 seed versus number 6, Connecticut versus Indiana. The Sun beat the Fever 93-69 in game 1. This game was feisty, which I would expect nothing else between these two teams, but ultimately the Fever didn't play very well. And that was to the Suns executing their game plan. And the Sun playing well, doing their game plan, hitting the Fever in their weak spots, made the Fever not look good during game 1. And that's what you need to do. You need to do your opposition research and find ways to make yourselves look better and the team you're going against look worse. Sadly, before we get into the substance of the actual game, we do have to speak about how the media is the absolute worst. They're the worst. In this game, there were 2 moments that were unintentional hits to the face. Dejanay Carrington accidentally hit Caitlin Clark in the eye, and then later in the game, Caitlin Clark hit Dejanay Carrington in the eye, knocking out her contact, which we've seen contacts get knocked out of in multiple sports. These things happen. It literally happened twice in game 2 of the Aces versus Storm. No one has said anything about it or made a media storm about that. But here we are. The media has blown it completely out of proportion like they usually do, and they're only talking about CC getting hit, not Dejanay. The media personnel are actively trying to perpetuate false narratives that can lead to actual harm of WNBA players. We've seen this earlier this year when Angel Reese and Kennedy Carter walking out of their team hotel was getting bombarded. We're now seeing it with Dejanay. Now online people are sending her death threats and saying terrible things about her and to her and about her team. And we've seen too many times where in this country where online threats become actual violence, unfortunately. So the media, to me, is to blame for these 2 very unintentional things that happened in the game. That is just a part of playing hard and being a basketball player. And just to even put cherry on top, both Dejanay and Caitlin Clark, we're going to watch their reactions and being asked about it. Neither of them really give a shit about this. So the media, please. Can you please stop being the worst? And can you please stop doing things that put people's lives in danger? Just please. But here's Dejanay and then Caitlin Clark.
Today, did you, when you went and kind of swatted at Caitlin, did you intend to hit her in the eye? And if so, could you just, or if not, either way, could you talk about what happened on that play?
I don't even know why I would intend to hit anybody in the eye. That doesn't even make sense to me. But no, I didn't. I didn't know I hit her, actually. I was trying to make a play on the ball, and I guess I followed through and I hit her. So obviously it's never intentional. That's not even the type of player that I am. So yeah.
Did you and Marina kind of laugh about it afterwards? It looked like there was later on in the game they caught you guys laughing about it.
No, I just told you I didn't even know I hit her. So I can't laugh about something I didn't know happened. With the increased
Stupid fucking question there at the end. Well, let's watch Caitlin. Which I thank you, Caitlin, for being reasonable while the media and your fans are so unreasonable.
Going back on the play with your eye, what would you say to the crowd of people that think a hit like that was intentional, maybe even warrants a suspension?
It wasn't intentional by any means. You just watched the play. It wasn't intentional.
All right, thank you, Caitlin.
Thanks, Caitlin.
She's done with your guys' bullshit. Josh, thoughts on this bullshit, basically?
Well, I will say this. We've been wanting attention to the WNBA for years. We didn't say what kind, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And people really gravitated towards Caitlin Clark and her style of play. At least, I did. I can't take my eyes. She makes me want to watch this more than I did before. It's nothing against DT or anything like that, but just we've never seen a player like this before. That, you know, at any point I'm turning on TV just see if she pulls up for the logo just cause, you know, type of thing, and like her passing and stuff. So I'm not watching it just because she made me realize that Iowa was a state since the Field of Dreams. It's because she's just really that damn good. It wasn't some like flash in the pan. And then all the weight that she had to be like the one to gravitate it. And we got attention, but I knew it wasn't gonna. If you get attention, you're, especially in this magnitude, this quickly. I think they weren't expecting. They were like, "Oh, finally, people are going to pay attention to us." I'm like, everyone was just throwing a parade. You could just tell people were throwing a parade when Caitlin came in the league because of all the attention she was garnering. But I don't think they were ready for the other side of the attention that you're going to get, unfortunately. And we're finally now. I think people are finally starting to, because it got real fiery at the start, and especially because when the WNBA season started, nothing else was really going on, so it was taking all the focus. Now that the NFL's going on, and college football is going on, you're not hearing it as much, but these little things magnify because controversy creates cash. So if any little thing that they can just put Caitlin Clark in the headlines, it's going to gravitate, clicks, all that. That being said, on the other side of it, you're looking at, you better get your shots in now without a no call, because she's probably going to get to that level of like the Tom Brady and the Patrick Mahomes, and you know, if you breathe on them, you know, it's going that you get what I'm saying, with that level of like, if you breathe on them, it's going, she might get to that point where they have to protect their cash cow in that regard. So like when Tom Brady tore his ACL because someone came in low on him, they immediately made a rule where you can't tackle a quarterback low anymore. When Aaron Rodgers broke his collarbone and they said, well, now you can't land all your weight on a player. That was an Aaron Rodgers rule. Like when it becomes, when a whole organization or a league realizes that person brings us a lot of money and eyeballs, so where we can sell advertising stuff, it's going to get to the point where, not to say that that's just a play that just happens. Those things happen all the time. Like people get poked in the eye and crap like that all the time, and it's not like, you know, the sky is falling that people want to do.
Literally happened in another playoff game this against two other teams that has the MVP.
Yeah, but yeah, to like the last little point I was saying is, you better get in now, because she's only going to create more eyeballs and money, which we've been wanting. But with that, the league's going to start really pushing to make sure that they protect her, even when even when it's just a non-whatever. So you're going to, because I mean, there's a lot of times where Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady's like, oh, you touched them, so they throw a flag. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's going to get to the point now where they're going to be just dumb texts that go against, or hard fouls, or against other females that go against Caitlin, just to make sure don't touch her, type of thing.
Yeah. My issue, though, the biggest issue I have is the media perpetuating narratives that are very dangerous and causing harm and danger, and like literally, like some of these other players are probably going to have to get security or get things because they're getting death threats, and it's the bad type of attention. And I'm almost completely certain that Caitlin Clark does not want this attention on the negative side either, of people caping for her to then harm other people, especially her colleagues. And I think that people's media credentials, the ones who continue to create false narratives and cause danger and harm to players, they should be stripped. You should not be able to come in and get unfeathered access to these players if you're going to continue to make completely false narratives that put people in harm's way, and that can, God forbid, something terrible happens to them because some crazy person online decides that they want to defend Caitlin Clark for some reason. And because like people are literally saying like, oh, her kneecaps need to be taken out so that way she never plays again, like saying some horrid stuff online about her. And I was seeing, because when we talked about how like the players are going against Kathy Engelberg right now. She was speaking about like competitive nature, but she wasn't. The players and the Players Association are mad at her for not speaking out against the uptick in violent messages that have been going to WNBA players this season, and that's one of their issues now of like, oh, if this is going to be what more eyeballs bring, then maybe we shouldn't have more eyeballs right now because it's causing actual harm.
That's a problem. It's more money, more problems, as
Right?
Biggie said. Not the guy that produced him. We're not talking about him, but more money, more problems. And like you finally got your eyeballs, but when the floodgates open, there's no filter right now.
Yeah, and that's where you need to put things in place, like taking people's credentials away.
And you have to learn as you go, because
like that creepy ass person who was at the beginning of the year with Caitlin Clark, who got his credentials taken away rightfully.
That dude is a dweeb, man.
Yeah, what a freaking idiot. But we'll go into the game. Alyssa Thomas had a 12
point. Oh, they played a game?
Yeah.
Always kind of feels that way a lot of times.
Right. Alyssa Thomas had a 12.10 rebound, 13 assist, triple-double. DeWanna Bonner dropped 22 points. Marina Mabry, she was clutch from the three-point line with 27 points, and she recorded the most points off the bench in playoff history. So let's watch some of her highlights here because, she was good. Your namesake was very good.
All right. This is going to pop up real quick because I think I actually deleted it from my timeline here, but I got it up here, so.
Josh.
Yeah.
And then also, while he's pulling that up, Aaliyah Boston also had a 17-point, 11 rebound double-double, so that was one of the bright spots.
Caitlin had an off night. She was not good at all.
Big has to get out and defend Duntas at the three-point line.
39% on the season. Thomas, shot puts it in, leaves some time for Indiana. Here's Mabry.
No relation.
To Thomas, push shot is good. Alyssa Thomas has it all going on.
Fender on her top side so that she could catch, corral, and finish.
Carrington on the other end.
Pass by Mabry there.
Driving the market, driving interest, and what I have found from everybody I've talked to, they might come for Caitlin, but they stay for the rest of the women in this league and fall in love with all the other teams.
7-0 Connecticut run. Boston loses it. Some starting to build some momentum. Mabry the catch, the stop, and the finish. Because so often against Connecticut's defense, you don't get good, clean looks. Tonight, they have thus far.
That little turn there.
Mabry will pull. That's it.
I heard that a lot in the League.
This time she comes down in transition. She's still feeling good from the one before. Yeah, showing some of that fire.
Closing in on another. Mabry. You bet.
Maybe, did you think you were going to hear your name this many times tonight?
I have to fast forward for time reasons, but I want to just watch the whole thing. They keep saying my last name. You know, has the E in it.
Three from Marina Mabry.
There's Thomas. Off to Mabry. Wanted her to take another. Mabry. Oh, baby.
That's a good one to end on.
Yeah. But going on to their second game, the Sun beat the Fever 87-81 to advance. This was a close game, but it was textbook, a team versus a superstar. There's also a few superstars on the Connecticut Sun team too, but this was really a unit versus Caitlin Clark. The Fever did make the Sun sweat a little bit by being right there with them the whole game, but every time the Fever had a chance to get a lead or to extend that lead a little bit, Connecticut would make the play, and they were just the better team. I also, again, going to shout out Marina Mabry again. She made a few clutch threes in the fourth quarter, so, Mabry having a good
She watched
Having a good
my
postseason.
12-year-old YMCA tape, and it really propelled her
Yeah.
to stardom.
Continuing on, we got Las Vegas Aces versus the Seattle Storm. Surprise, surprise, they also advanced. Aces beat the Storm 78-67 in game 1. Gonna be honest, I fell asleep, did not watch this game, only watched the highlights. But a cute moment is Asia Wilson's mom. She has never flown before in her life. She decided to fly to see her daughter in the game 1 and her unanimous MVP. And Asia joked that her mom needs to be at every game now because of the win. So, like, shout out to Asia's mama, like, getting over her fears and getting on a plane to see her daughter play. Asia had 21 points, which was the game's highest. Kelsey Plum only had 2 points, and she missed all her threes. It wasn't a good night for Kelsey Plum.
She's trying to get over a stabbing in her back wound, okay? Just deal with it.
Nneka Ogwumike, she had 13 points, 10 rebound, double-double. And looking at the breakdown of the score, it looks like Seattle started strong, outscoring the Aces 18-9 in the first quarter, but ended the game badly, only scoring 2 points in the fourth quarter, and the Aces had 14. So when you only score 2 points in the fourth quarter, kind of...
I don't like your chances.
Yeah. But Aces then go and beat the Storm 83-76 in game 2. The Aces had an amazing start to this game. Kelsey was going to make sure she didn't have another 2-point game. She scored 29. Yeah. She was like, that was an off night. Let me show you what I'm really made of. Asia Wilson got a 24-point, 13 rebound, double-double. Chelsea Gray's passing. She's better than anyone in the WNBA when it comes to passing. Like, fight me. There were times in the game that I literally was like, ooh. I'm like, oh my God. Like, literally, it's like when you watch, you just see something so smooth, and you're just like, ooh. She was 1 assist away from a double-double, scoring 12 points. Gabby Williams showed why she was lethal with France at the Olympics, scoring 20 points. Side note, I learned on the broadcast that she was an elite high jumper and got 5th in the Olympic trials and qualified as an alternate for the 2012 Olympics before becoming an Olympian in basketball with the French national team. American father, French mother, born and raised in the U.S. So she could represent either, ended up representing France. And then Nneka Ogwumike, she had another double-double, 16.10 rebound. This was a fun game.
Sorry, Gabby. Get ready how to learn silver medal.
This was a fun game to watch, and I cracked up at the differences of the coaches. Seattle's head coach, Noelle Quinn, she's very soft-spoken. And then you have Becky, like, literally walking on the court to go fight with a ref. It was the funniest thing. Like, the dichotomy there. There really wasn't any stopping Asia when she gets to her spot, and Chelsea Gray shows why she's the point guard. And when Kelsey Plum is on, she's on. I can't wait for the Aces versus Liberty, because no matter who wins that matchup, we all win for the greatness we're going to watch on screen.
Yeah.
So any thoughts so far on we technically have the next, even though the Minnesota Lynx, Phoenix Mercury, that's not done, we kind of know how it's going to end. Thoughts on these games so far in round 1?
I picked the Fever just because they were just so hot going into the playoffs. But, sometimes it's the better team won. And, like, Michael Jordan got swept by Michael Jordan, I think, but, like, they're putting her on that weird pedestal.
Mm-hmm.
That. So, plus, I mean, her and Aaliyah Boston, like, should be... They should also be not just what Caitlin's doing, but they made the playoffs for the first time in
8 years.
8 years.
The Connecticut Suns coach, the last time Indiana made the playoffs, she was the coach of Indiana.
Right. But yeah, just
and Tamika Catchings was on the team.
Damn, that was long ago. Shout out to Tamika Catchings. But yeah, it was. I don't know. I just thought of Tamika Holskull there for a second. Do your research on Holskull. She was really good. Anyway, sidetracked there for a second. But yeah, no, it's just the better team won. But I just thought just momentum. Sometimes, I mean, you can ask the Giants who beat the Patriots to beat them. Yes, I'm going back to football, but other sports could be compared to other sports. People, okay, it's about storylines and all that stuff. So, but yeah, the Patriots looked unstoppable, but the Giants were just on a tear, and the hot team sometimes wins out. And then plus with that and just where they're going, because technically Aaliyah and Caitlin are no longer rookies. They're veterans now. Once you hit a certain time in the season, you're a veteran. You know how the game works. You've gotten used to the game. You're not
This is
coming out
Aaliyah's
anything.
second year.
I thought Aaliyah was also drafted.
Boston, this is their second year.
Oh.
And then you have Kelsey Mitchell too, who
Kelsey Mitchell balled
out, and it was between her and Caitlin they were going back and forth where who was leading in points for Indiana this year.
And Kelsey showed up in that first game, but it was just if Caitlin like had all of her shots, she just could. It was an off game for her. And I think if
it happens to the best of us.
Yeah, and if Indiana didn't win that first game, this was probably going to be a sweep, which it was. So yeah, that's the only game that I'm not really surprised with, but that was the toss up of like, well, I'll just go with the Fever just because they're on a heater, but the Sun's a better team, guys. They just are. Not the Sun, but
yeah, the Sun,
oh.
Connecticut Sun.
Yeah, sorry. When Phoenix, why does Phoenix one thing and the Connecticut Sun the other thing? And Don Taurasi plays for Phoenix and not Connecticut, but that's the Sun. That's just make sense. I've been to Connecticut. There is no Sun.
You ready to go to a little kicking and screaming? Yeah. So, our first story that we have, Gotham FC is the first ever NWSL team to be invited to the White House. Gotham were last year's NWSL winners, and they celebrated at the White House. Crazy to think that NWSL winners in the past didn't get the White House invitation, but it's good that they're and hopefully this continues forward. Also, fun fact, Sue Bird, it's her fourth time going to the White House for a championship team, this time, and the first time as a partial owner. Right. So she's like, I just gave money to the team, and now I'm at the White House. Yeah.
Right.
So
Mr. Ducksworth from the Mighty Ducks, like he got a jersey just because he owned it.
Right. But let's go to some Americans scoring goals. First up, we got Christian Pulisic scores the first goal in the Milan derby that AC Milan won 2-1. So let's watch.
Game and already under immense pressure. He said he was given the task of completely changing the style, and now Pulisic is carrying forward, and Pulisic can go all the way! The American has scored in the derby della Madonnina! Quieting the pressure!
It's like I'm happy, but then I'm also like frustrated because like you couldn't do that when you put on the Stars and Stripes.
Dispossessing Inter deep in their own half, and he's got options. He doesn't want him. He splits the two defenders. So quick, so direct. Doesn't want to make any mistakes.
Could do the Stars. No, I really don't. I don't have any notes for Pulisic when it comes to the men's national team, but still, I'm just blaming everyone right now.
Yeah, Pulisic, he will have an amazing game, or he will play like he doesn't give a shit and have a shitty game for the Stars and Stripes. I think Pochettino will not allow him to play like he doesn't give a shit. So we'll see it going forward. Staying in Italy, Gianluca Busio scores the first goal in Venezia's 2-0 win over Genoa. And guess what, Josh? I've been to that stadium.
In the way, Candela once more stepping in on the loose ball. Busio.
And another cross. Golini.
Oh, wow.
Is good this time.
That's not supposed to happen.
The ball hits the post. And careens off the goalkeeper into the back of the net. Bozio finally gives the net.
All right, let me remove that because I heard a song that could get us copyright in the background.
Now we're going to go off to France and Ligue 1. Falarin Balogun scores the third goal in Monaco's 3-1 win over Le Havre.
Aumenta la presión del Mónaco a medida que les obliga a retrasar y roban el balón. Ya la tiene Leniquena para balón. ¡Gol!
I mean, just the pipes on that man.
Right?
The dichotomy from between like them and then the English was like, and he's found the back of the net. Beautiful. Like, that's it? That's all you have for us?
Now we're going to head over to the Netherlands. Malik Tillman gets a brace in PSV's 3-1 win over Fortuna Sittard in the Dutch Eredivisie.
All right, give me a second here, because you got 2 goals for this, right? Because I think YouTube kind of screwed up.
That's what a brace means.
Yeah, it's the page doesn't. They deleted that. Yeah, page doesn't exist. So I thought I was like, I clicked on something wrong, but it says the page doesn't exist for that first goal. So I can move on to the second one.
Let's watch the second goal then. Malik Tillman did score 2.
Yeah. I don't know. They must have found something like bad about it, but they deleted the video.
Well, for Fortuna Sittard, but of course it went in. Tillman and Pascali over the free kick. Goal by Tillman.
Oh, beautiful. Put some English on it.
A second one for
Beautiful.
Well, called the beautiful game.
Now we come over to the United States, and Tushka's not here to celebrate his girl. Sophia Smith scores the first goal in Portland Thorns' 3-2 loss to San Diego Wave in the CONCACAF W Championship Cup. So, let's watch.
Let's watch Trinity Robbins' understudy.
Done. And they continue to be creative. Falling down here on the left-hand side. This could be trouble for Smith. She shoots and she scores in the 26th minute. Easy enough for Sophia Smith. San Diego breaks down. Portland capitalizes. 1-0 for the roadside. It's the opportunities that you get.
She fell down.
And you capitalize the mistakes of the opposition and world-class talent.
And then we're gonna end back in France, in the Division 1 Feminine, Division 1. Lindsay Horan scores the second and fourth goal in Lyon's 6-2 win over Fleury, Fleury. I don't know how to pronounce that. In your most French way, how would you say?
What was it? How did the spelling go again?
Fleury.
It's Matt Fleur so it must be
Fleury.
Yeah, it is Fleury. Also, too, Tushka, where was your girl's celebration? She just looked like she didn't care. Like, at least Trinity, when she scores, it seems like she like put everything into it. Like she's dunking imaginative basketballs and stuff like that, and like high five Magic Johnson. And your girl just like didn't.
And she did the night.
Yeah, she did the night, and then your girl just seemed like she was just like, yeah, I'm here for a paycheck. Like, talk to your girl, get her some more animosity. Like, come on.
The words of Josh are the words of Josh only on REV Sports. We love Sophia Smith and Trinity Rodman here. But let's watch Lindsay Horan.
You have like a disclaimer button.
Opportunity for Lyon to take the lead. Lindsay Horan behind the penalty. Ready to take it. Scores.
Scores.
2-1.
Yeah. I don't want to be here. See, here's the thing. I was just trying to go to the pub, and they just told me they'd pay me like 20 quid just to come here and call a soccer game. So here I am.
Let's watch our second goal.
I didn't butcher that accent, did I?
You were absolutely perfect.
Oh, brilliant. Barbecue sauce.
Diani is still on the floor. It looks like it's Dumone actually. And here's Horan with another acrobatic try, and this one ends in the back of
but
the
I
net.
couldn't see the side.
She tried this one before.
Yeah, we don't get to see it go in the net, but we get to see her do a side.
I'm not saying this video coverage was from like a film club from a high school.
Brace.
But that's all the technology we had, guys.
Let's have a look at this. This is a lovely pass from Marijan.
That's offside as hell. I don't know where the ball was
I
kicked.
don't know whether Franca was thinking that this one would go wide, but
it's beautiful. It's beautiful though. I mean, I'll give it that. But that looked off as hell.
Man, those are all of our Americans scoring goals in the past week. We hope that they continue to score goals and continue to have good weeks, and then that they do it in the U.S. shirt come time when during their camps. But that's all I have for the beautiful game.
Well, it is beautiful. It always will be. Just like yourself and everyone else that is joining us tonight. Thank you so much for doing so. We come here every Wednesday at 9 o'clock Central, 10 o'clock Eastern. Obviously, be sure if you check out this video to like and subscribe, ring that doorbell, because we have other fun things that we do here. And thank you all so much again for getting us to 100 subscribers, and we're only just getting started. So we're trying to bring you as much content as we possibly can, all the goodness. If you want to see more of certain things, especially with our Wrap It Up, if you want to see more of a certain sport or anything like that, let us know down below in those comments as well. But as far as just giving you a run through of what we got going on, again, like I said, we got our fantasy show, a fantasy F around with myself and Tushka on Mondays at 9 o'clock Central. There's kind of a theme here on the times, but 9 o'clock Central, 10 o'clock Eastern, as we kind of sweat out those Monday night games. That's why I'm saying plural games, because next week they're going to have a twofer as well for Monday night. But typically they're sweating out that Monday night game to see if our teams in our 2,200 leagues that we're in, end up pulling it out on that. And then also on Tuesday, we have Game Dudes, as we're me and three of my buddies that I grew up with are going through Defendi Original Sins, which is a D&D based game. So if you want to come in and just hang out with us and tell us what we're doing wrong, because we do that a lot. Just watch a bunch of mid-aged dudes just bitch about video games. Come join us on that one. On Wednesdays, obviously, like I said, you'll see me and Soul, and hopefully, and sometimes Tushka will pop in, but maybe be various guests going as we kind of grow this series forward. But mainly, you're going to see me and Soul. So yay! And then on Thursdays, myself and Justin Toner. Hey man, that's a lot of names in my head right now. Justin Toner, go through my tag team partner in the wrestling business, as we go through and talk about everything that is, was, and will be in the thing of wrestling. We not only talk about the news of the week, but we talk about the shows and we review those. So if you follow along with wrestling and you want to see that, come join us every Thursday at that time. And then also, we are going live for the pay-per-view, or PLE that they call them nowadays, for Bad Blood in the first weekend in October. So we're going live there. So join in with us as we watch along to Bad Blood with CM Punk and Drew McIntyre in a steel cage, and Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes. Will they exist teaming up going against Roman Reigns' former bloodline? Also, join us on all the socials at Ruckus EV. And then if you want to also think about any type of YouTube shows and want to get to the YouTube world, let us know. Join us on the Patreon, patreon.com/RuckusEV, and we will help you produce and figure out what works for you, what doesn't, and get you into this YouTube world. And we'd love to help you out.
Thank you, Josh. Are you ready for a moment of Zen?
Give me 2 seconds. Now I am.
When was the last time you talked to your mom? This morning. I ain't talk to you. I'm finna come call her right now.
Here was the last bruises. This morning. Love you, mama.
I wake up, I say my prayers, and I talk to my mama.
If you ain't talking to your mama, we got a problem.
Don't worry about it.
Hey, mom.
Oh, no, that's what's out there. How you doing? I talk to mom every morning, and we pray together. And they pray together, stay together. Amen.
Yeah, we talked to mom last night. Y'all know what it is.
When was the last time you talked to your mama?
Yesterday. I'm hollering all in here. I love my mother. I miss you. 2002. Enjoy your moms, man. Call them.
Why did it have to end with that?
Call your mom.
Call your moms.
Thank you, guys. Bye.